Alright, in today's video, I'm going to be giving you a double review. Um, I was just going to make this video a review about the Netflix Avatar The Last Airbender series, which just released last week. But the day before that, we got a trailer for an upcoming movie that I was very excited for. I was very happy. And I heard that the trailer was out. I didn't watch any reactions anyone else was doing. Um, and I was like, okay, I got to do this one. I got to watch this first. And yeah, so I will be reviewing the trailer for Borderlands and the Netflix Avatar The Last Airbender series, season one. Let's go. Okay, so like when you're watching a movie, we're going to do the trailer first. And the trailer for the Borderlands movie came out. I I had heard rumors that this movie was coming out. I never heard any huge news. Like no one really talked about this movie coming out. None of the channels that I follow. And I follow a lot of channels that um probably would have talked about this if it had huge news. Like, the Angry Joe Show, C3 Films. Those are two of the channels that I follow that really dive into pop culture and stuff, different movies that are coming out. And Angry Joe did a review of the Borderlands trailer, and he touched on some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about in this. So I sat down, I was super excited. I watched the trailer, and I just could not believe it. I'm going to start with how it looks, the positives, okay? On the positive side, it looks faithful. The environment looks like Pandora. The villains look like the villains from the game. Like, if you watch carefully, you can actually see the villain mouthpiece. It just looks so good. The weapons look great. Um, I feel like I don't know if it's the music we're gonna get in the movie or not, but the music's okay. Um, I don't know how to describe really the music that is used for the Borderlands game. It has like this otherworldly Western kind of feel. Like the song "Short Change for a Hero," "No Rest for the Wicked." These are kind of iconic songs that I mean are used in the game, and well, I think "Short Change for a Hero" was, but either way, definitely "No Rest for the Wicked." Like the first game opens up with that, and we didn't see too many of the monsters. You mostly just saw um one monster and a lot of psycho bandits. So I'm a little curious how skags are gonna look. Um, now, move. Basically, that's all I got to say. That's positive. Looks wise, it looks like it works. A couple, a a small handful of characters are perfect. Even though we only got like a blink and you miss them moment, like Marcus, looks spot on. Moxie looks spot on. Claptrap looked spot on, but we'll get to Claptrap when we get there. Now, I moving on to the negatives though. This movie is seriously, horribly, atrociously miscast completely. They got Kate Blanchett, who's like 50, 60 years old, playing Lilith, who is like 25, maybe at most 30. Can't remember if they ever actually say how old she is. Um, and you don't really see the siren tattoos, which are a huge part of her character. And that's something Angry Joe pointed out too. But now maybe they're just like dimmed. So maybe it's just a barely, um, because she is wearing a coat, which hopefully she takes off so we can see the tattoo lines there or something. And maybe it's just because they're blue. Maybe when they're not active, they don't glow. So it's like a hardly notice it kind of a thing under a jacket. But, and that could always be, too, didn't, they toned it down for the trailer or something to hide it. Um, but no, the actress herself, though, she's too old. Tanis, who is I believe in her like 30s, maybe almost 40, is being played by Jamie Lee Curtis, who, sorry to say, is like way too old to be playing Tana. So I don't get the choice there. Of course, probably the one that most people point out as the biggest miscast, Kevin Hart as Roland. I could have think of like a ton of freaking people who would have been better to play Roland than this guy. Not that I don't like Kevin Hart. I enjoyed like the Jumanji movies he's been in. Um, that one where he teams up with The Rock in a lot of his movies. The one with them like being in CIA, or like The Rock is in the CIA, and I forget the name of it, but uh it's a really good movie, and Kevin Hart, for the most part, is a funny actor. However, you're going to hire a comedian to play the role of one of the most serious characters in the franchise. Like, of all the characters, Roland being military is like very serious. He may joke around, which adds to like, oh, is he joking or not? So Kevin Hart, and aside from the fact that Kevin Hart is 2 feet shorter than Kate Blanchett, he should be taller than Lilith, which I pointed out, and my friend was like, "Oh well, if you didn't tell me that, I wouldn't know that." And it's like, you know, and Tiny Tina, I guess, is okay. I think she was supposed to be a bit younger, and we'll get into why. Uh, but Tiny Tina out of the whole group was okay. She wasn't badly cast, but probably the best casting of all was Krieg, and that's because Krieg doesn't speak. Now I am really hoping that we're going to get like a distinguished, gentle voice whenever he's like kind of on his own or something, and You just hear him like his inner thoughts. I mean, it's gonna be because if you do it when he's around the group, then it's gonna be hard to know. Is he actually talking to them? So, anyways, um, yeah, that was just absolutely the most worst casting. But I haven't quite finished yet. I got one more, and I said I'd be coming back around to Claptrap, which we're going to do now. I am a huge Jack Black fan. I have been a big fan of his since the 90s when he was in the Cable Guy. I bought the albums to both Tenacious D individual albums. I stopped after Rise of the Phoenix. I don't know if he's done it, if they've done any more. I don't think they have. And yeah, I mean, I've enjoyed. I really loved how Jack Black brought to life Bowser in the recent Mario movie. I thought that was perfect. But Jack Black as Claptrap? Are you kidding me? And then from the lines, like he was almost there. Like, okay, he was good, but you could have gotten somebody just a little bit better. Even if, even if the original actor who voiced Claptrap would not come in and do this movie, even though I think it's Sony that's making this movie. Sony is different than um, Gearbox. So Sony would have probably paid this dude a lot of money to come in. And they, even if they paid this dude a lot of money, I bet you it still would have been what they would have had to pay Jack Black to do. Like he probably would have done it for half of what Jack Black got paid, and that would still be more money than the whole money situation with Gearbox that he probably is owed. So like Jack Black probably did it for like 2 mil. This guy would have done it for 1 mil. You know, probably because it's not Gearbox. It's a movie, but maybe they asked him and he passed because he saw how atrocious this was. So Jack Black is going to be the voice of Claptrap. I'm not looking forward to that. I mean, like I said, I like Jack Black, and I don't want this to be the one thing that makes me go, now I have a tarnished view of Jack Black as an actor. And I do. I blame the actors. Like me and my buddy, I've mentioned this many times before, we get into a lot of arguments about Star Wars. Especially about The Last Jedi and everything that happened with Luke. And I tell him over and over and over again, okay, but here is the biggest thing. The actors, no matter what the directors and the writers say, the actors can always refuse to do the role. And someone like Mark Hamill, he is not someone you can just replace. If Mark Hamill refuses to do the movie because it's not written right, he doesn't believe in what the characters say, and he's passionate about what the characters' thoughts are and how the characters should be portrayed, then he could walk away and not do the movie. They can't sit there with a gun to his head and make him be in that movie. That's illegal. And yes, he may have a contract, but it might be, oh, you avoid the contract. Mark Hamill is so popular and famous that he's not going to have trouble getting any work. And I'm sure that all the characters, that would actually be a positive thing if he had said, you know what? No, I don't agree with this. I'm not going to be in the movie. If you don't change it, if you're not willing to change the script, I'm not going to be in the movie. Then I'm pretty sure he would have found work elsewhere and people would be like, you know what, this guy, he cares a lot about the character, so if we're gonna hire him, we need to make sure we do good with the character. Um, but no, he didn't, and he did the movie. So on some level, he agreed with how they portrayed the character. And Last Jedi is one of those movies where you really gotta really pay attention and really dive into some of the character development. That's what makes anything in that movie good. Because if you just look at that on a surface level, no. But I can understand it to a point why he did it. Jack Black taking this role, I'm sorry, does not give me the same. I don't feel Jack Black was right for Claptrap. He he can be given the funniest material, but it's not going to sound right hearing his voice come out of Claptrap. So that's my biggest gripes with the cast. Oh, I forgot one. Sorry. No, there was a character that was pretty popular in the games, pretty big character in the games. That wasn't even shown in the trailer. Hammerlock. And I know why they refused to show Hammerlock in the trailer because they completely race swapped him. Well, to a point. They decided, oh, we're going to make him a black man instead of a old white British guy. So all the young characters, they gave their roles to older actors and actresses and different heights. And the actual old characters, they gave it to completely different, like, and that's why I said it's so weird because Marcus, Moxie, those two, like I said, if you, I mean, some of the villains, if you blink, you might miss their little cameos in the trailer, but those are perfect. They look just like them. Now, I don't know how they're going to sound. Maybe they suck and they sound horrible, in which case they completely fucked up every casting of main characters or notable characters from the games. But to change Hammerlock, I'm actually kind of hoping that they say, "Oh, Hamlock's over there" or something, and we just see like a crowd of people and maybe him in the middle holding a sniper rifle. Hopefully, he has no speaking lines and he's way off in the distance, so you can pretend like, "Oh, they're pointing at someone else." This actor, um, maybe has done some things that are good, but this is not the role for them. And I'm sorry. I just don't buy that Charles Babula is the best person you could have gotten for Hammerlock. I mean, shoot, this role could have gone to Michael Gambon or someone. You know, I think they could have done a phenomenal job as Hammerlock. There's just, I don't know. I'm really nervous about this coming out because, like I said, I am a big fan of this franchise. I played almost all the games. I think there's one game I haven't played, and it's one of those like little side ones. But I played Borderlands, Borderlands 2, the pre-sequel, Borderlands 3, Tiny Tina, Tales from the Borderlands. I think there's a Tales from the Borderlands 2. I think that's the one I haven't played. But yeah, and I bought two copies of most of all the games so I could play them with my daughter. Me and her would sit and play them for hours on end. We still to this day have not actually gotten around to completing every side mission and whatnot. But yeah, I'm just extremely disappointed. And unless they're keeping this as a main surprise for the movie, it does not look like we got Handsome Jack or Angel. Like I didn't see any like in the cast list anyone named Angel. Didn't see a Handsome Jack. Now, okay, so being that some of the actors and actresses are miscast by age, at first when I saw Lilith and then I saw Tannis, I was thinking to myself, okay, maybe this takes place after Borderlands 3. But if that's the case, then by the way, spoiler alert, Roland's dead. So he should not be in the movie. So that means if this takes place before Borderlands 2, then Lilith, Tannis, Tiny Tina should all be much, much younger than what they are in the trailer. And it's just, it's like, it's like somebody, a lot of people maybe, I don't know, sat down, played the game on mute, didn't listen to any of the characters, didn't listen to any of the dialogue, didn't pay much attention to the story. Because even if this, okay, let's say this takes place before Borderlands 1, which it shouldn't because Roland and Lilith and they were there from the beginning, but that's when they first arrive on Pandora. Yet from the trailer, it sounds like they're going back to Pandora. And then where's Mordecai? You know, where's where is the missing characters? And then are we gonna bring Handsome Jack in at the end? Are we gonna, you know, are we gonna get a surprise from Angel? It's like I'm telling you, it's like they did not pay attention to. They just said, "Oh, look, we need to copy how some of this, how this background looks, how this world looks, how the weapons and vehicles look. What about the main characters? Ah, screw the main characters. No one cares. You never see them anyway because it's all first person. You get it, but and I'm just like, no, this is. I told my friend this is going to be like somebody took a shit and wrapped it in solid gold and said, "That's beautiful." Because, like I said, and I've heard people compare this to Guardians of the Galaxy style. I mean, that style should work, but you need to cast the main cast properly, and that's the biggest problem. Aside from the fact, also, like I said, don't know really what the story is about, except they're going to Pandora. Okay. Pause here for just a second. So, after doing my initial recording for this podcast or video, whatever you want to call it, I did do a little checking on the Borderlands movie and its story. I really didn't find much yet. I did see a cast list, and I was going to mention that they casted a woman for General Knox, but it's actually Commander Knox. So I want to break down what I think the storyline is going to be for this movie and where in the timeline this would probably take place. So I think this movie is going to be a follow up to the initial Borderlands game. Now, if you play the games or if you get into the games by watching the movie, then the movie would be a sequel to game number one. And I think the movie is going to set up events for Borderlands 2. I think if we get a sequel, then that sequel would probably be something that takes place between Borderlands 2 and Borderlands 3. So the order of events would be the pre-sequel, Borderlands 1, this movie, Borderlands 2, maybe another movie, then Borderlands 3, well, Tales from the Borderlands, if you count that, then Borderlands 3. And then maybe they'll do another movie after Borderlands 3 before maybe getting Borderlands 4 finally. That is my speculation for the timeline. I think the story is basically going to be after the defeat of General Knox, the remainder of his army is taken up by his daughter because they love to give the villains daughters. And that basically she is hunting down those responsible for killing her father and opening the vault. At first, when I saw her name, I mean, because the General Knox thing comes from a comes from a DLC, and it was not part of the actual first game. Um, General Knox, I believe, was mentioned in the first game by Steele, who was a female character, which is actually who I thought this was. So now knowing that it's probably going to be General Knox's daughter and she's called Commander Knox, I feel like this is going to play right after that DLC. So maybe they'll set up Jack, who should already be a character in the universe from the pre-sequel. Um, I kind of wish they had just if made a movie version of the first game and followed what story there was. But yeah. All right. So let's go back and resume the video. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about this because like I said, it looks really good. It looks great. Except for the fact that everybody is the wrong casting. And I don't know if I can sit through 2 or 3 hours of a movie and watch that for that long. I definitely already can tell you, based on that, no matter how good they do in the movie, no matter how great they do, that one thing, the miscasting of these actors and actresses, is already going to bring this movie down to an 8. Even if the rest of it's great and wonderful, it's an 8. I can tell you that already. Nothing is going, no matter how much I watch it, it is not going to change my mind. Just like I was very vocal about my thoughts on the 2016 Ghostbusters before that movie even came out. And I hated it so much. I hated everything that they kept talking about. And I vocalized that very clearly I had coworkers telling me, well, you don't know if you never go watch the movie. So you know what? I actually did watch the movie. And it was worse than I thought it was going to be. So no. I'm very confident that this is already going to be an 8. And if we don't get something better in the next trailer to hype me up, I'm definitely not going to watch it when it goes to theaters. I will probably wait for it to hit streaming or something, and then I'll check it out. I don't. They spent a. If they had told us, if we had a chance as the fans of the game to take apart or help contribute, however you want to look at it, some of the decisions that were being made, we could have told Sony, no, 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 don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do this. And we could have helped put them in the profit range of making Borderlands one of the best movies they ever released. But nope. And I know Eli Roth has done quite a few movies. I think I might have seen some of his movies. I'm not entirely sure. I know there's a couple movies of his that I've never gotten around to watching. But no, I am half excited for this and I'm half not. I'm half dreading it. And the thing is, they better do if they're gonna try to make this move on. I don't know why. If they are already planning a sequel that is gonna bring in Handsome Jack, I think there's only one clear choice for Handsome Jack, and that's Ryan Reynolds. And if that's who they got for Handsome Jack, then I think they're hoping that he can save the movie. But I don't know. What do you think? Do you think Handsome Jack would be uh would be best played by Ryan Reynolds or someone else? All right. But I've taken up enough time with just the trailer thoughts for Borderlands. Let me know your thoughts in the comment below. Do you agree? Do you disagree? Why? Just don't dislike the video because you disagree. Tell me why. So I can make a video more on based what your comments are. Anyways, moving on to Avatar The Last Airbender by Netflix. Um okay, so I watched all 8 episodes in a matter of 2 days. I watched 4 episodes one day, 4 episodes the next, and I have to say I am extremely pleased with what we got. Already, because they said the names correctly, does it infinitely score higher, in my opinion, than the stupid live action movie we got several years ago. Um, but you know, there's so much about this that just made it so much better than that live action. This is almost on par. Like, I have my friend Anime D Senpai. He talks about Dragon Ball Z and Dragon Ball Kai. And I kind of feel like that's what this live action was. This live action was our version of Dragon Ball Kai. It hits all the proper story beats. It provides you with everything you need from season 1 of the animated show. It speeds it up and gets through it a little bit faster than the show does. Like the first episode alone, I think was like the first 3 episodes of the show, of the original show. So the 1 hour episode for the one was like 3 episodes of the animated show, which was perfect because we didn't linger a lot. We didn't have. I did. Yeah, I kind of wish they had not changed how Aang got out of the ice. I thought the animated version did just a little bit better, but that's like really nitpicking. Um, the only other issue I really had with this version of Avatar: The Last Airbender was not that it was completely miscast, just it took a little while to buy into some of these characters being who they are. Like the kid who plays Aang. I get it. In the animated, he has very animated eyebrows, but I don't know if they did it on purpose. It looks like they made his eyebrows thicker and darker just so he would look more like the animated character. And I feel like you didn't need to do that because that kind of looked a little fake. Um, but I will say, it seems to me they did take into account like most of the voice work. Now, Mako was always going to be a hard person to replace as Iroh, but I did buy that the actor who played Iroh did look a lot like the animated counterpart. Even though he didn't sound like it. Whereas a lot of the rest of the cast sounded like it, but didn't quite look like the characters. But over time, hearing those actors' voices, it really did seem very, very close to the animated series. So I was able to latch on to like their look and just overlook any little details. And they also didn't take a 13-year-old and cast a 25-year-old in the role. I'm not gonna let that go. Sorry, it's really irking me about that trailer, about the movie, because it's coming, sadly. But yeah, that really did bother me. At first, and I can't kind of grew to like appreciate these characters in Avatar. Because they did sound like you could watch this with your eyes closed and you'll picture the animated in your head after a while. Now, that's another thing they did really well too is they captured small tiny moments from the animated show and did a perfect job recreating them in live action. Now, there are some story changes here and there, like for instance, with the Earth Kingdom and the Earth King, uh, Sokka and Katara are not with Aang when he's meeting the Earth King, and so they don't get captured by the Earth King and used as leverage because they're off dealing with another crisis that was from a different episode, I believe. Um, so they kind of try to run two storylines at the same time by separating the characters. But yeah, like I said, I really did enjoy this, and I'm extremely hopeful that they don't pull a Dark Crystal on us and we actually get a season two and move forward with this because, I mean, they are freaking killing it right now with One Piece and with this converting cartoons into live action. Like I said, the only other issue I had with Avatar is it seemed extremely Asian based. Now, for that, my head canon is basically this is not Earth, this is a different planet, and that's just how everybody looks. But 90% of the cast is probably Asian actors and actresses. And for some of the cast, like the Fire Nation, I always got that sort of feel. But and maybe I just don't realize that they're using different races, but because I don't know, I just it didn't seem that way. Like I said, it all seemed very Asian casted, and that's fine. I enjoyed it still. One of the biggest notable actors for me was probably Daniel Day Kim because I loved the show of Lost up until its last season. He was also in Angel. Me and my daughter were currently watching 24, and he's in that. And I'm like noticing him in so much stuff lately. It's like, wow. Um, but yeah, like I said, if you have not already watched the first 8 episodes of the show, I implore you, if you are an Avatar fan, go check it out. If you don't want to sit through a long cartoon series, this is perfect to get the same story, just better. And I'm really hoping that we get a season 2 and that they continue on this upward trend because I think this is what's going to keep people coming to Netflix. So, but all right, that is going to end this episode. If you have not yet checked out my book series, The Guardian of Light, please consider doing so today. Every day that goes by, I get more and more people checking out my book, telling me how much they loved it. And I tell them, I say, well, first 5 books are on Amazon. I just spoke with I just got 2 people yesterday who one finished the book and one heard me talking about the book and wanted to pick it up when they heard me talking about it because they said it sounded so awesome. I said it is awesome, and they said, "Well, I'm gonna go check it out." So, all right, like I said, that's gonna wrap this up though, and I will see you all next time. Bye.